Hey, what's going on YouTube? So, here I am on my way to work again today, and I had another word. So, I was just thinking, which could be dangerous sometimes. Yesterday was set up or marked as a day that could possibly be a bad one for me, considering what it represents, or the memory of that day. But it wasn't. It was the complete opposite. And when something works out, you kind of like want to know or take note of what could have possibly made that happen, so that you can duplicate it. Why did yesterday work out? Like, why was yesterday not a great day, but a day that was pretty enjoyable? To be quite honest, it did have its moments where the flesh part of me reminded me of how significantly horrible that day was. It marked the anniversary of the day we laid my sister to rest, which was 4 years ago. And of course that's a sad time or a sad moment. But yesterday itself, it was just November the 11th of a year of none of that. I would have said, today was a good day. And I say that because yesterday, on several accounts, I was reminded that just by different moments throughout the day, I was just reminded and repeatedly reminded that we ask for help so prematurely, sometimes in life. We think that we're this is unrelated to that emotion that I felt. This was just coincidentally, or was it that I kind of felt this in yesterday, that we prematurely ask for help sometimes, and are we really in distress? Do we really need to cry out help? Or is it that we just need to make an adjustment, and change some directions that we're going, or some things like that, and I think a lot of it is it's premature cry out, and we need to reserve some of that for when we really are, in need, and I think we forget sometimes that you can, but you shouldn't, ask for that kind of help where you want the universe to shift a little bit in your favor, and you haven't even done the step of jumping, you haven't leaped off into anything to actually need the help, I think some of us, which was another point yesterday, need to live a little bit more. We need to come up out of our comfort zones to actually live and experience, be really uncomfortable, go in an environment where maybe you don't speak the language, or maybe it's so unfamiliar to what you're used to that you are slightly uncomfortable. And in that space of being uncomfortable is possible growth, because it forces you to do something that it makes you use a muscle that you don't use all the time. We wake up and we just take it for granted that we can communicate, and we have all the emulation of our body, and things are just good. But if you find yourself in an environment or a situation where those things don't work to your benefit, it forces you to move differently. It forces you to explore parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed, like other senses start to wake up. Like when you're walking in a crowd of people and you don't know what they're saying, your ears now are just deceiving you, right? Because it's like, I can't get nothing out of this, no stimulation out of what's going on. So then you start to visually take note on what's going on, how people are standing closer, or maybe there's a bell tower in the distance, or something like that. You're paying less attention on the verbiage from what's going on, but you're paying more attention on the visual, or other sounds. Maybe it's not sound, maybe it's sight, maybe you're imprisoned. You found yourself in a situation where you're locked down. Okay, so your visuals are limited. It's different type of visuals, but it's not like being able to see a tree or a bird or kids playing in a park. So now your visuals are limited. But that doesn't mean now that there's not room to grow, because now you can tweak or enhance another sense, a sense of imagination, You know, whereas people out here free forget to do that. We forget to let our minds go because we're so entwined in our devices or that immediate like satisfaction that was right there in front of us. But once those things are taken away, now you have to dive into that part of your brain where you want to escape. You know, you want to visualize a beach, you know, or breathe or something like that. Sorry about that. This again, this Ring doorbell lets me know every time a squirrel farts on my porch. But I just think that we need to get to a place where we are forced to explore areas of ourselves that are or may be uncomfortable, because that's where real growth lies, and that's when you should really cry out for help. You know, when you're in those spaces where it's really calling for that. I think we're so comfortable and we get a little discomfort and we're like, Lord, I need your help. Or, I can't do. You could do so much more, you know. So yeah, like I said yesterday, on a few instances, it just reminded me of certain things, or there was some takeaways, which was hold off crying out for help unless I've actually leaped the hell off the building and need the help, you know, and yeah, and just like don't be so what is it like don't be so trapped by your circumstances, you know. There's an ability to escape anything if you really want it, you know, and that even includes pain and hurt and all of that. You can escape that if you really want to. If you want to live there, it's possible. You'll find every way to maintain in whatever that hurt is if you want to. But if you also want to escape that and be free of that, it is absolutely possible. You know, we have a lot more power than we give ourselves credit for, or maybe it's just lack of information or lack of knowledge. Excuse me. But yesterday was a good day because I allowed myself to just be open to even being able to receive those messages. I could have been so deep in my despair that I missed all of it. You know, I went through that day yesterday, which I'll never go through that day again, and had missed those moments that were trying to remind me to jump, to leap, to grow, to live, to explore, to all of that, you know. And I received it. I ended the day saying thank you, you know. I began my day saying thank you, and I definitely ended it saying thank you because it was such a good day, you know. And I start today saying the same thing. Thank you. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for allowing me to receive all of the messages from yesterday and be a better and stronger minded person today. Now, I hope going through today, I will end it in that same space, you know, and onward and upward, you know. And like I said yesterday, in those moments, there will be instances where you're forced to evaluate some things or work harder or work more diligently through certain things, but it's not meant to break you. It will definitely make you stronger, you know. And it's all about a mindset. It's all about, you know, perspective and stuff like that. So that's what's been on my mind, you know. That like, yeah, you know, that old cliche statement, if you get lemons, make lemonade. That's purely what it is. Like, you don't get to change what you've been dealt, but you can change how you deal with it, you know. And that's just it. So I say all that to say, everybody have a wonderful day, a good morning. Whenever you view this or see this, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. This ultimately is a locked channel, and we talk about hair and stuff like that, and my hair and my journey and the exploration of holistic lifestyle. And I think all of it falls into place. You know, you can't just grow an appendage on your head and think, oh, I'm being holistic in that avenue, but then not willing to explore your emotions and your mind. It all works out. You change your thoughts, your hair will grow. You heard it here first. Message. If you change some of those negative thoughts, your hair will grow. If you change some of those negative thoughts, you'll lose 10 pounds. You know, maybe that's the title of the video. If you change a negative thought, your hair will grow. And I truly believe that, as jokey joke as that may sound, it's not. You know, stress and anguish and all of that stuff stops your blood from properly flowing, which will inadvertently make your hair thin and fall out. So maybe I am onto something. Again, peace and blessings. You all stay safe. Don't drive, and YouTube. Hands on 10 and 2. Talk to y'all later. Bye.